Welcome to CPG Vibes. No scripts,
just chat.
I'm Alex Baer.
And I'm Wade Yenny.
Each episode is recorded live, and we talk all things food and beverage, and so much more.
Feel our vibe and search for CPG Vibes on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and make sure to give us a 5-star review.
If you'd like to sponsor our show with your product or service, email us at cpgvibes100@gmail.com.
Now, let's vibe.
Hello, happy Friday, all. This is episode 118 of CPG Vibes. Welcome to our show. Wade, how's it going, buddy?
Good. Happy Friday. Still
Happy
trying to
Friday.
get used to this new time. I'm still trying to figure it out. And a holiday weekend to boot. So we got a lot going on today.
Exactly. We're getting started on celebrating the holiday weekend right here at CPG Vibes. And going to flash this. Boom. 12 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, we're starting to kind of slip into this, which is good. I think for a couple weeks, it'll be a little rough. There's people that are used to eating their dinner on the East Coast while listening to us with their family at the table. Luckily, you don't have to do that anymore. Now it's at 12 West Coast, 3 Eastern. Right. So how do you like in the new time slot? How does it feel to not be really hungry by the end? Because, usually
I was going to say
just time.
Yeah, I was going to say I ate a late lunch today.
Yep.
Good. It's nice. Well, this is what week two of the new time. So
yep.
This we'll see. We'll see how we adapt to it. But so far so good.
Yeah. Well, it's we've done this once before, so we have practice. I'm no stranger to changing things up. I did it all the time. A Genius Juice, just different packaging. This is a different version of that. So we were at 8 a.m. Then we went to the 2:30 slot, and now we're at noon. So thank you all for bearing with us and getting used to the new time slot. Some laundry list items to talk about here. First off, we are the number 1 rated CPG podcast in the world right now. And we're also number 1 on LinkedIn Live for CPG, which is huge. So thank you to everyone who has supported us along this now 2.5-year journey that we've been on, starting it literally from our garages. We're still in our garages, but we have better microphones this time. And we also have a sponsorship and block rate, speaking of better microphones. So anyone who sponsored our show in the past and the present, we're basically just utilizing these funds to improve the show experience, right? Better mics, doing some marketing. We hired an admin. We have an admin through V Driven. And so this is really all about just getting the best show possible and getting more resources behind it to help the CPG community at the end of the day. So thank you all for your support. If you'd like to be a sponsor on CPG Vibes, email cpgvibes100@gmail.com. We're booked out quite a ways, about 6-7 months out. But you never know, someone may drop it and reschedule. So we can always try to get you in as quickly as possible. And we're running pretty hot. We have a lot of people on live. We also have our Apple Podcasts and Spotify accounts, which are at all-time highs right now. We're getting anywhere from 700 plays to 1,000 plays per episode. So all good there. Also, make sure to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcast. We're at 231 right now. And Wade, again, we're not dangerously close, but always good to stay ahead of that, where the reviews are way more than the number of episodes. We're at 118, 231 ratings. Let's keep that going. Please give us 5 stars. Takes about 1 minute at the most. Also, we have a Slack channel, cpgvibes.slack.com. And there's actually, Wade, I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm going to be checking it right now as we're doing this live, because people posted today about random discussions and things that we can talk about on today's show, including Save Naturally from Marciensko. We have, I think I'm pronouncing his name right, Cagney Krutz with savenaturally.com. That was posted in our Slack channel, and now we're mentioning it live on here. So you can go to savenaturally.com. Boom. That's how we're giving back to the community. Case in point right there. And then also we have 2 ongoing sponsors. We have Range Me and V Driven. Before going into details about them, we just want to really emphasize also our weekly sponsor, and they're sponsoring several episodes. They got the block rates, which is really smart to do, and that is Social Nature. And we're going to be joined by Analia Krebs later in this episode at the 30-minute mark. She is the CEO of the company. It's an 8-year-old company, and they are really starting to surge and grow in the last couple of years. And they have some new great programs that they want to discuss on our show here. But as far as I'm going to go, maybe we'll flip it around, Wade, where I can talk about the weekly sponsor here, and you can go into the ongoing. We'll kind of flip it around here so I can not run out of breath here in the middle of the show. Burnout on CPG vibes here. But Social Nature, our weekly sponsor, they help natural brands get discovered on retail shelves through their community of 1.1 million shoppers who are looking for better for you options. And so, entering retail is very hard. It's harder when you have 500 random store locations. So, especially in Walmart or Target. So, you give the store list to Social Nature, and they'll drive in-store velocity for retail accounts by getting the product in people's hands. And they can target those retailers to make sure they try your product. So next time they enter the doors, they know your product, they've tried your product, and they want to buy it, which is the best type of shopper ever, right? Best shopper ever hashtag. So that is Social Nature. Flipping it over to Wade for the ongoing sponsors.
Right. So we have V Driven. V Driven's leading consulting and brand management agency, specializing in strategic guidance and brand representation for emerging and mid-sized CPG brands. And also, in partnership with Sprouts Farmers Market, V Driven is organizing a pitch slam for brands that hold regenerative organic certification. It's a unique opportunity to launch your brand on the Sprouts Innovation Table in Q4 alongside other great regenerative organic certified brands. And if your brand's new to market, certified and regenerative organic practices, you can learn more and apply through the link. Alex, I don't know if you have that or if you can grab it. If not, I'll get it. And then we have RangeMe. And RangeMe helps brands drive awareness and engagement with retailers through an easy-to-use platform that has more than 15,000 buyers. Listeners can get discounts on RangeMe Premium and Pro subscriptions, which include benefits such as direct product submission to retailers, access to Nielsen IQ category data, and even in-person meetings with buyers at their ECRM sessions. So for more details, you can visit rangeme.com/CPG vibes, or you can scan the handy QR code that's in the background on the screen there. So thanks to RangeMe and V-Driven. And V-Driven, if you mention CPG Vibes when you reach out to them, you'll get a discount from them as well. So ways to save money and build your business. Sounds like a win-win to me.
Sounds great. Love it. You nailed it. And what's really interesting is usually I'm talking and then you're posting these links. So like now I'm in your world of like having to like race over, have like 30 windows open, copy and paste, bring it over. It's not as easy as it looks. It is not easy.
It's not. There's definitely a science to it. So so if you see me looking over to my side, that's where my links are over there. Yep.
Cool.
So there is the link for the Sprouts Regenerative Organic piece right there if you're interested in that on behalf of V-Driven. So, all right, Alex, what do you want to talk about?
There's a lot to talk about today, man. The newswire items I think is really the first thing that we'll talk about here. I mean, I'm so utterly and continually impressed by what Olipop, has been doing with their sales and growth. But newswire stuff, how we start the show, they are hitting 500 million this year in annual revenue. Olipop. So there you go. A brand that started in Erewhon 6.5, 7 years ago, with sales under $1 million. 7 years later is now at $500 million in sales.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Boom on that one. That's insane. And they're obviously, Poppy is enjoying that wave, that momentum of prebiotic, probiotic sodas. Then there's other ancillary brands, from Culture Pop to Wild Wonder to tons of others that are prebiotics that are just riding that entire wave of growth. So congratulations to Olipop, and honestly, congratulations to everyone in that category that caught the wave, because it's a massive wave that I don't think has signs of crashing anytime soon.
No, it's firing on all cylinders for sure.
Yep. And then we have also the Acosta news. We have a Whole Foods Unify contract news. Why don't you, I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, so it came out earlier in the week that Acosta, the retail sales agency, brokerage, whatever you want to call them, acquired Crossmark, which is, both are pretty significantly sized as far as scale and have nationwide representation. Excuse me. And I'm curious as to the impact it's going to have from a standpoint of competitive. So if Crossmark has a national contract with someone and Acosta has a player in the same category, that's a significant. How that's going to look as far as brand management goes. I think there may be some opportunities for some of our friends on the brokerage side as far as that goes. That potentially they might want to make some changes based on this acquisition. So time will tell. I mean. Both of them play pretty hard on the conventional side as well, and then obviously they're both involved on the natural organic specialty channel as well. So big news for sure. I didn't see that one coming, and we'll
Not
see.
at all. No, I didn't see it coming from 10 miles away, 100 miles away, 1,000 miles away.
Yeah.
So there's that. And Crossmark is really a specialist on retail merchandising, right?
They do a little bit. Both of them do everything from retail store coverage to to the traditional broker services and
Got it.
whatnot. And I think it really just depends. I mean, when I was in Ohio, Acosta was always the kind of the leader there. Crossmark, going back 20 years ago, was very, very strong, and they made some changes in structure over time, and weren't quite as strong as they were, at least again in Ohio. But I think it's relative to where you go. Sometimes you can. You go to a different part of the country and there might be somebody stronger. And of course, at the end of the day, you're only as strong as your people. So, it's, obviously that factors in as well. So,
Right. And
and
Kenny Hausman here, just to shout him out, said Crossmark had a lot of C-store business, a void for Acosta. What are you drinking there?
that is a Monster Energy drink.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, they're not
Each.
sponsoring us. That's why you
They're
couldn't
not.
show the logo. Couldn't show the logo. You wrap
Right.
like a white label around it. It's a generic Wade Yenny private label energy drink.
Right.
But yeah,
The
that's
other.
interesting.
Yeah, and the other news piece, you alluded to that, I kind of threw in there was that Whole Foods renewed their UNFI contract into
Why?
2032.
Why not?
Which
Right.
is it obviously speaks very highly of their commitment to Unify. It's interesting
Yep.
because traditionally you bid that business out depending on the size of your organization, maybe between 3 and 5 years. So a 8-year commitment is significant. That means they're going to be locked up there. And I know I saw some dialogue back and forth with regards to people were surprised because they thought they were headed to maybe self distribution, and or they also are involved with Spartan Nash. I think there's a minority. I think they have the opportunity in the coming years to maybe have 10 to 20% of that business. I forget what it is. It's out there. It's probably in the article there too. So I think there was some thoughts that maybe they would be leaning into turning Spartan Nash into their distributor of choice. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I mean, it's obviously a huge piece of business. So I don't know if you have any thoughts about that.
Yeah, I mean, I just say why not, because like Unify has just dominated with Whole Foods for such a long time at their cost plus 8 model or cost plus 10 model, depending on what the category is. And Genius Juice was distributed by Unify nationally in Whole Foods. Everyone has their own opinion. I thought they did a pretty damn good job considering how wide they had to distribute and how many different warehouses and the complexity of servicing Whole Foods. So the fact that they have the coverage, they have the DCs, they're conveniently located, close enough to the Whole Food stores to properly service them, anywhere from 4 times a week to 6 times a week. Seems like kind of a no-brainer. If it's working, keep going. I don't hear a tremendous amount of complaints around it, which is pretty rare for a national distributor working with a national natural store. So I've heard more good things than bad things, which is a good thing in this business, for CPG to hear the positives more than the negatives. So I think, I saw in the article that it was originally supposed to end in 2027, and then they
Right.
extended it past there to 2032. And Gavin is saying episode 10,000 in 2032 with Wade and Alex. And we'll probably be talking about in 2032 extending it to 2040 or something like that.
There you
So
go. There you go.
it's
And
gonna keep
you know,
going.
it the other interesting part of it to me is the it's no secret that Unify has been struggling with their financials.
Yeah.
Their financial numbers have just been bad. So I think I didn't I know when the announcement was made that they had a little bit of a surge with their stock. I don't know. I haven't checked to see if that continued or not, but
Yep.
I know there was some positive impact based on the announcement. So maybe that'll help them as far as that goes. So
Exactly. The other thing that you alluded to as well with all that, you nailed it right there. What you just said is that there was the rumors about, oh, is Amazon with the takeover, right? Are they going to be distributing instead of Unify? And there was like some scares around that early on from Unify. But face it, Amazon's core competency, from what I observed, is not delivering to brick and mortar stores. Their core competency is having the Amazon hubs and having last mile deliveries to people's homes, which is why they have the Amazon Fresh integration with the stores where you order online and then someone, picks it up in the store in a bag, Amazon Prime bag or Amazon Fresh bag, and delivers it last mile to someone's house. So I like you don't see a lot of refrigerated Amazon trucks around. I don't think I see any. And so for them, even though they're a billion-dollar company, for them to learn that system, invest in a fleet of hundreds, if not thousands, of Amazon trucks around the
right.
country, dry and refrigerated, frozen, that's just out of their core competency. And so it makes sense to just stick with the pros that do it right.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
All right. So, or Amazon will buy Unify. That's another possibility. They got to get that stock up a little higher before they buy them.
Right.
Maybe
Exactly.
not. Maybe they want a better deal. Who knows? So that's that. And then the other kind of news to talk about is more just about the post, and not to stroke my own ego or anything like that. Maybe a little bit is the post I did about marketing, right? And we're getting
Mhm.
away from news items more to general topics. No script, just chat
Right.
on our episodes. But like I did a post on LinkedIn a couple days ago, might have been yesterday actually. It was yesterday morning. That's gotten like 30,000 impressions, and it really struck a chord with a lot of people about. And it's something that I've been observing from afar and haven't said anything about and kept my mouth shut about. But I realized, like Mark Samuel says, if you have something on your mind and you want to express it, get it off your chest, just do it, express it, and people are gonna resonate with it because it comes from the heart. And so what I posted about was that these brands that are not ready for they're at a stage in their growth cycle where they're spending too much money in areas for marketing that's not going to benefit them or give them a return on their investment. So a good example, like what I mentioned in the post, for those that haven't seen it, we'll link you to it, is a brand that launches in a brand new city, and they're launching in 75 locations, and they fly 7 people out. They do on the street swag stuff and giveaways. They spend money on hotels and meals and plane tickets, and they have trucks with their logo plastered on it, banners, billboards. And I've seen some brands make that mistake where just because they're in a new region, you do not need to overinvest on things that are very expensive that you're just not going to see a return on. And then on top of that, or very little return, is that you're not available in every store. So if someone sees the ad and then they go into a store in that area, it's more likely they're not going to find it than if they're going to find it. Now, in the case of someone like Liquid Death or someone large like that, doesn't have to be as big as Liquid Death. If you're in 1,000 stores in a region and you feel like you put it on 10 to 20 trucks, you're going to get people to come in and be lifetime customers. That is worth it. And then the last thing to mention, and I'll shut up after this, is that these companies they have very limited funds, and there's essential items to spend your money on, whether it's production, raw materials, personnel, just staying alive and continuing to, preserving your cash and making sure you have runway to grow your brand sustainably. And when you blow money on things that do not have a big return, you're risking your business running out of money, since you don't have unlimited funds like the big guys do, right? So that was my gripe, and I think it from the comments, Wade, it really resonated with a lot of people on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it you would think that it's fairly simple. The concept in general is, don't spend what you don't have, especially if
Exactly.
it's not going to provide you with a return. So do you think what is the mindset behind why are so many people doing that, and or what is it they're not aware? Is it they're just being irresponsible? What do you think is the mindset behind what's going on?
I think it's a great question, and it's something that we were at times guilty of, right? And guilty may be the wrong word, but that we did at Genius Juice, where you don't know what you don't know, right? You only know what you know, and if you don't know what you don't know, it's your first time going into it. You're going to spend money in areas that are not going to benefit the brand long term because you just don't have the experience to know what works and what doesn't. There's that side of it, or not being properly advised. The other side to it, Wade, is kind of, and I use these words in the post. It's strong words to use, but it's like a vanity project, right? Where you
Mhm.
feel proud, which is fine. You feel proud of launching in these new stores and getting into new regions, and you want to hit it big and be in the spotlight. And so, essentially, you're spending money out of the sake of promoting your brand because it feels good and you feel good doing it and you want more eyes to see it because it makes you feel good as a founder, but it may not be the best choice for the business, even if you feel good yourself, right? So I call it being a little too cavalier, taking too much control of it, and not making a smart decision. So I feel like a lot of founders are so emotionally attached to their brands. There's an ego component to it, but everyone has an ego. You just got to keep it in check. So that's those are my thoughts on why founders sometimes fall in that trap of spending too much money in areas they shouldn't be.
Makes sense. We have a question here from Joe with regards to marketing via TikTok and the given the legislation against it, and he's saying he hears many brands have had a lot of success promoting their D2C offerings via that platform. Um, TikTok to me it just I marvel in that platform as far as the ability for something to go viral, and it's I always go back to the example I go back to is that guy riding a skateboard with the ocean spray and the Fleetwood Mac song. I mean that just I don't know if you remember that one or not. I mean, this has been a while ago, but it's just that guy became like a
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
I mean, it's crazy, but it's just so I think from what I see and what I hear, and I don't know, Alex, if you have an opinion on this with regards to TikTok, but I've heard about brands. I know obviously Danos does a great job with
Hmm.
TikTok as far as what they do there, and I think the brands that do it and do it well are definitely getting return on those posts. You have any thoughts as far as that goes?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Joe Ternowski, he mentioned you get a lot of marketing impact just being scrappy and generating organic content. And I mean, that ocean spray one, right, is a enormous, anomaly example of going organic and getting traction. There's a lot more noise on TikTok than there was
Hmm.
4 years ago or 5 years ago pre-pandemic. But I still feel that if you exhibit patience, take your time, make the right choices. I'm not an expert at TikTok, but I do know that if you have organic material and just really manage your budget, take your time on it, don't try to do something overnight. Keep putting effort into it consistently over time, posting, sharing, but also being authentic, right? Just
Right.
like Midday Squares. You're authentic. It's from the heart. It's you. People feel that and resonate with you, and they're more likely to engage in the post and listen, and then look at future content as well. So I believe in that method, and it takes time and it takes a lot of patience, but that's the right way to doing it versus paying your way to try to be big within 6 months to a year. And I think like
Right.
that's a common pitfall also that a lot of brands have is they feel like they have to make it in like 3 years or 4
Right.
years. And that was the model up until 2022 or 2023, which is 3 to 5 years, build it to 50 million, 100 million, and then sell it for 200 to 300 million, and everyone gets 10 to 15x on their investments and they're all happy. And now that model has changed to a scrappier, more organic approach. And I feel like with TikTok that applies, but again, like Wade, think about all the ways that founders are spending money for general marketing, right? T-shirts, bags, tote bags, sunglasses, all the doodads you see, right? When you go to Expo West,
Right.
some brands having 2 booths when they really only should have one. One booth having 6 people at it when they're a small brand. They really only need 2 people there, maybe 3 people. So I think just be scrappy and be really present to what you're spending and know that even if you just raised a round and you have a couple million in the bank, that money goes really, really fast, especially when you're putting money in for productions, raw materials, and one other thing that actually the Mela founder, Don Purpura said is it's good to conserve capital for future opportunities as well. Like what if
Right.
maybe you're not budgeting for it, but let's say in a year you get a launch in a big retailer and it's going to cost money to support it. So you want to conserve that cash just in case a future opportunity comes up and you can fully capitalize on that opportunity. So,
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That D2C space is so important. And I mentioned it in a post that I had earlier this week about my visit to Louisiana last week and some of the things that my buddy Barton's doing with his business as far as catering to the 3PL D2C, consumer brands, I should say, as far as being able to save them money. So the brands that are doing D2C business, obviously it's working out really well for them. I had, which I don't want to get too far into the weeds here, but 2 packages delivered to me today that came D2C that I'm excited to show at the end of the show. So yeah, good stuff.
Nice. Yeah, and we're going to bring on Social Nature in just a minute or two here. So one other really important share here. Again, I love case studies, right? Wade, case
Hmm.
studies like they just exemplify a real world example of how a brand has done it right. And big props and shout out to Ari Raz and Noah and the rest of the team over at Coconut Cold. And Stephanie Hui says in her comment here, the Coconut Cold shares authentic, real, unique, educational, fun, and engaging content on IG and TikTok as well. And I 100% agree. They've never been salesy. It's always been to the benefit of the person watching, where they learn from their posts. And also, it's kind of quirky and weird. Like
Right.
he's an interesting figure, like in this space, long hair, kind of hippie-ish, but very knowledgeable about diet. And so, for those that haven't watched the Coconut Cold social media posts, they're pretty incredible, very informative. They're fun. And the other note, before we bring Annalie on here from Social Nature, is that they don't pay for influencers. They don't pay.
Right.
They send out product to their top 5,100 raving fans. And because the product's so damn good and they're so nice about giving out product and sampling, which is never something you should skimp on, by the way, really tying into Social Nature, that sampling is just really crucial and key. Coconut Cult invested in that side of their business. Now they have well over 100 raving fans that are micro influencers on social media that has grown their business to all new heights, and they haven't paid $1 to an agency to do that.
It truly is a cult of organic followers and believers in that product, and it's amazing what they've done. I know Joe Tarnowski also mentioned the fire department coffee as someone that does really well on social media, and I've worn their shirt here before because they were gracious enough to send me a couple of them. Fire department coffee, so love those guys. They do a great job.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, and so I guess the kind of the moral of the story, and then we're gonna roll right into bringing on Analia Krebs over from Social Nature, is be scrappy, be patient. It doesn't happen overnight, and don't rely on an agency all the time. They're good in certain situations, but don't rely on them to build your brand. It has to come from the team, right,
Right.
organically. All right, so we're going to pause here, talk about our ongoing sponsor, and then our weekly sponsor, Social Nature. So our ongoing sponsor is V-Driven, and we have also Range Me, so vdriven.com, and we're going to post really quickly to schedule a call with them. So
I don't know about it really quickly, but we will put we'll get it in there.
we'll get it in there somewhere. Yeah,
There it is.
there it is. And we also have Range Me, and I'm going to do that one for you, Wade. I got that. Boom.
You got it?
And
Okay.
boom. Got to go do teamwork. There's too many coming up, so we have to We have to share them now and work on it together. And then there's a QR code in the bottom right corner. So make sure to check out Range Me and their programs that they have going on. So Social Nature, our sponsor for this week. A little bit about them. They help natural brands get discovered on retail shelves through their community of 1.1. It was a million. They've grown to 1.1 million shoppers who are looking for better for you options. And essentially, I'm going to go off script here because it's no script, just chat. You launch a new retailer, right? You're in 300 new Targets, 500 new Walmarts, 400 new Whole Foods, 500 new Sprouts, whatever it is. And you want that consumer going to that store to discover your product that is in a sea of other products on shelf. Social Nature will target their 1.1 million people and find the ones shopping at that retailer and get them to go in with a redeemable coupon that gives them the product for free first time to try it out. And I will also mention, and Analia will do a much better job of explaining this because she's the genius behind it, is you can also use that data for consumers because they have a program, and the prize, by the way, which we didn't mention, is a category review insights package where it's 150 shoppers, and they'll do this as part of this package for free. You just have to send out the product where 150 shoppers can get your product, and you get feedback and ratings from these shoppers that go into that retailer. And then you can present that at your buyer meeting to say, no, I know what your customers have said about our product, and here it is. So that's a several $1,000 package, and Analia will talk more about that. But stay tuned till the end of the show because you can win that for your brand. And if you're not a brand, you can gift it to any brand of your choice. All right, so I'm gonna shut up now because I'm saying too much. But let's bring on Analia Krebs from Social Nature. How you doing?
Hey, happy Friday, everyone. Good to see you.
Definitely. I try to ride the line of explaining enough, but not too much because we want to leave it up to you to really talk about the details about what you do. So, but how you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great. And I was enjoying the discussion you guys were having about efficient marketing because that is near and dear to my heart. I think I'm on. What I'm really finding is that with a lot of the marketing that's out there for emerging brands, the challenge for emerging brands is that it's not geo-targeted. Like you guys were saying, if you're in 1,000 stores or 2,000 stores or 5,000 stores, you can really lean into those influencer marketing, big brand awareness opportunities. But when you're just getting into one region of Whole Foods or Wegmans or Myers or 800 store test at Target, what are your options? And your options are pretty limited, unfortunately. You're either doing in-store demos, which are making a comeback, or you're paying for really expensive Facebook, Instagram, advertising that's extremely geo-targeted, which is costing you $10 to $20 per user. So it's really challenging, and that's where we can come in because we have those shoppers that can be geo-targeted around your store lists that we can send into those 500 stores, those 50 stores to discover your product on the shelf with a free or a discounted digital rebate. So we just launched digital rebates. That is brand new for us coming into 2024, which we're really excited about. It's a lot more efficient. There's no shipping costs. All of that is gone. And you can retarget that shopper to stay top of mind. So I'm all about efficient marketing, no fluff, just results.
So, Analia, I'm sure you can do this. What's an example of a big win that someone has used Social Nature as far as just kind of walk us through the here's whether you name the brand or not. Obviously that's your discretion, but give us an example of something that's of a great success story, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. So the brand that comes to mind, since you guys were talking about Olipop earlier, is we actually did a campaign for Olipop back in the day, and they what they really were looking for, and what I love about Olipop is that they really understand the connection between in-store and online. So they were really using us to not only drive their shopper into the store to discover them on the shelf, but then they really squeeze the lemon by uploading the reviews to their website and syndicating those to other .com retailers. They use the email addresses that we gave them from consumers that had sampled their products in store to retarget those consumers on Facebook and Instagram and add them to their own email list and remarket to those consumers. So they were just, what they do such a good job of, and it's, you know, part of their DNA, part of their culture, which is also really what's led to their success, I think, is they understand that, you know, sales is really about an omni-channel environment. The consumer will buy you wherever they want to buy you. You need to be everywhere, and you need to collect that consumer data and use it to follow that consumer around, and you know, sell to them online, sell to them in store, just keep top of mind. And so they loved the fact that they got as much data as they did from our solution. They loved that they saw an uplift in online sales for those consumers who had tried their products in store and then were able to buy case packs online. They loved the fact that they could geo-target the consumer and be really efficient with their spend. I think they do a really great job at that too. Even though they're big, they're still scrappy and really smart with how they market. So they came to mind since you mentioned them. But there's many more case studies and success stories on our website.
There you go, Alex. So you mentioned that they're going to do 500 million in sales, and Social Nature played a part of that. So good example there.
Yeah, you're never too big to, you know, do kind of a scrappy marketing that really targets the consumer, you know, where the consumer is going, you know, what their habits are. Then you can geo-target, like you said, and retarget them online. So it's like, I mean, that's what makes the brand so great, right? Is that they're basically like, they're always open-minded. It's all these solutions. And then with Social Nature, right, they have this program where, and it's part of this is a prize, right, that you're including here. But tell us more about the insights package. What did brands get out of this? And then like, how does it help them long term with like category reviews and all that?
Cool. Yeah, so we're offering a prize package today worth $5,000 for one lucky listener. And that is what we've noticed is for emerging brands in particular, when they're looking to get onto the shelf or even expand, you know, the number of stores that they're in, retail buyers are like, why should I put you on my shelf? And, you know, will my shopper be interested in your product? And why are you better than the other 10 beverage brands that I have on the shelf? So what we found is really helpful is when the brand can show up at that category review or that retail buyer meeting with some data that says, your shopper is interested in my product. Here's my top product attributes. Here's thousands of product reviews that tell you why consumers love my product. Here's the use cases. Here's what percentage of shoppers are new to category. Here's why we're a basket builder. All these really tangible, actionable insights that retail buyers will care about. You can actually show up with the insights that you'll get out of this $5,000 insights category review package, and impress them. We've seen brands get new listings, get new products added to the shelf as a result of these consumer product reviews and other survey insights that we package into this. So I'm excited for whoever's going to get it because it'll help in retail pitches, it'll help in investor pitches. There's lots of good content and insights that you'll get from this package.
And I know we're going to be talking about investment a little bit after this, Alex. So can you imagine being armed with that information if going in, you know, with making your pitch, whether it's to an investor or a buyer or what have you? That sounds like some awesome information to have.
Yeah, and especially power in numbers. I mean, no sugarcoating. You know, most brands don't have that kind of data. They just have raw data about velocity, but they don't know what their consumers are actually saying unless you're paying $60 an hour to do like a demo in a store, right? I think, and obviously this can span across regional and also national. So you can go, hey, Walmart, 300 here, 500 there, Sprouts, national, and you can get opinions from different demographics, whether they're in Texas, Arizona, California, you know, mid-Atlantic. And I want to emphasize here also for our viewers that we mentioned Olipop, but there's also many, many small brands that are emerging, right? When I say small, like they could be 300,000 in sales up to 10 million in sales, right? Kind of small to emerging. And you're just looking for any data you can get your hands on to see, is this product even hitting? in retail? Like, are people liking the product? And I think like some of the challenges with the other programs we've seen, I won't mention any names, is that you get the product in their hands, but but then you don't get the feedback on what they thought about it. And Social Nature has that follow up in their software to make sure that someone says, "Here's what I thought about it," and I think they can rate it right on different levels. And so, if you're a small brand that just is, you're only in Erewhon and Lazy Acres, right? You're in the smaller retail chains, which are great in Southern California, and suddenly you jump to a big national retailer, or you jump to Whole Foods, you jump to Sprouts, you jump to an Albertsons or Kroger. You want to know what the hell's going on, like when in the consumer's mind and what they're thinking about your product. And then you can make iterations and changes on your product quality or formula if people are complaining. And I can't tell you, I mean, I'm blabbing, but with the consulting I do, people find out when it's too late, sometimes they launch in 500 stores, 1,000 stores. And then, they're 5 months later, they look at the velocity and go, the velocity's down. What the hell happened? And then they start asking questions, and the buyer says, oh, we heard that, the consumers thought it was too expensive. We heard the consumers thought it wasn't sweet enough, that there was too much sugar, not enough. So it's good to get that data in real time is my whole point.
Definitely. I posted the other day that I was blessed to be invited back to one of Ray Latif's podcasts this week on the Elevator Talk, and I posted about that. You can find the link, and if you could scroll back through my posts. But I did another show which hasn't been released yet, so I'm not going to name the specific show yet, but we talked about that very subject, exactly what you just said, as far as when do you start looking at that, so you get placement today, when do you look at that velocity? And I don't think you can look at it soon enough. I mean, you from the time starts, you turn the hourglass the minute you get that placement on the shelf, as far as the evaluation, and the longer you wait to evaluate, the more likely you're setting yourself up for a disaster on the back end if your product isn't moving. So the sooner you can get information and react to it, add a promotion, do something different if need be from a marketing standpoint, the better off you'll be. So I think it's very, very timely as far as what we're doing here today.
Yep. I got one question before you go, Analia, is like, let's say there's a demo that's in the store. Can someone refer someone to Social Nature during a demo and say, here's one on us, and please write a review or feedback so that corporate, the company that's putting me in this demo here and paying for it, they can understand your feedback. Is that a possibility?
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
Very soon, yeah. With the launch of our digital rebate program, there's a whole new world that's opened up to us with QR codes and all of that jazz. So yes, if you're interested in that kind of capability, encourage you to get in touch. It will be released before the end of the year. So you'll be able to use it within your in-store demo settings or other marketing channels. Yep. So yes, that will be a capability.
Great. Love it. Okay, so socialnature.com. And again, the prize that Social Nature is giving out is a $5,000 value. Can everyone still hear me okay? Hopefully.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. And 5,000, it just went quiet. And usually I'm like, when it goes quiet, what happened? So a $5,000 prize for an insights package from Social Nature given out at the end of this episode. So stay logged in to possibly win that. So Analia, thank you so much, not only for being a sponsor for this episode, but being an ongoing sponsor for multiple episodes. And have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Bye. All right. So we're going to be pivoting back here to the other topic at hand for this episode.
VC Capital.
VC Capital. It's really, I'm just looking at some of my notes here. So there was an article that hit last week, which really, I think, inspired me in a way to talk about this topic, where capital for VC capital for CPG brands specifically. Now, for general VC capital has dried up considerably, over 50%. VC capital for CPG brands has dried up by 97% in the last 12 months, 18 months actually. according to the latest statistic. Obviously, give it a few margin of error points there, but that's still incredibly high. And so, like, when you're thinking about this as a founder or someone managing a brand, and you're like, I need VC capital to expand, to grow, and I can't find it. And if I raise 500,000 from angels, that's not going to be enough. What the hell do you do? Right. And there's a lot of options out there. And it goes back to, do you want to continue? Right. And risk your brand running out of money in 1 to 2 years if you try to raise VC capital and get enough traction, but you can't get the traction without the capital. And so there's like this
catch 22.
Catch 22.
Yep.
So I've seen brands that are taking early exits, right, in acquisitions or mergers, M&As, and they're being vertically integrated, right? And they're rolling up with a vertically integrated partner where they may not get the exit they were looking for, but at least they get some kind of return back to investors, whether it's a 1x, hopefully a little more, might be a little less. But essentially, the brand lives on, and they get fresh capital in from a new entity that acquires them to help them with all the resources they have. So I think, like Wade, this is becoming more common, right? There's still a lot of brands on their own that are out there that are looking to raise 500,000 to $1 million. But what do you do if you've already raised the $1 million and now you want to raise 5 to 10 million? You can't find that from angels. It's just too hard. You have to go to 1,000 people unless you're doing crowdfunding or something.
Right.
So you can't get the money to really truly grow to your true potential and capabilities as a brand. So what do? You can't run out of money and you can't raise the money you need. What the hell do you do? Just cut budget and then stay the same for 5 years at the same revenue? It's really a difficult situation.
Right. You get it ties into what we talked about earlier, as far as looking at your expenses and making sure that you're running as tight a ship as possible. And I know you've talked about that. I know Mark Samuels talked about that. But then also making sure where you have the product, we talk about this over and over and over again, is make sure, and this ties in with social nature as well, is making sure that where you have the product, you are getting turns, so that you are making the most of the opportunities you have. But yeah, that's I don't know. So Alex, from your side, obviously you touch this a lot closer than I do. Is this a temporary thing? Is this a sign of the times? This current environment. Is it going to bounce back? Is it going peaks and valleys, and we're in a valley right now? What's your take overall?
It's going to bounce back, but it's going to be for larger brands. That I think Seth Goldman also said this on our Master Series a couple weeks back. It's going to be for brands that are profitable, that have really solid financials and fantastic traction and velocity to boot, right? They just have that data backing it. And the biggest concern that I have in general and I just like to speak honestly, right, from the heart, is a lot of CPG brands don't have all those stars aligned. They might have great velocity, but they're losing money, or they might be profitable, but they've cut their marketing budget to be profitable, and they're not doing the hockey stick of growth, and they're not getting the velocity turns they could truly get if they had a few $1 million in the bank and they were doing tons of promotions and online advertising and getting people to the stores. So there's only so many brands like Coconut Cold or Midday Squares that has strong social media to support the turns and not spending as much money and turning a profit. But a vast majority of CPG brands don't have that luxury. They're struggling to get the velocity they need to get to raise the money, and they don't have enough traction to raise the money, the catch 22 again. So this is going to continue to go on for, I feel, another 18 to possibly another 2 to 3 years, the way that I'm looking at this, because this started in 2022, right? Like mid to late 2022, this pullback by the market. It's been 2 years and there's no end in sight to me, or maybe there is, but it's not months out, it's years out. So I think, like, the way that I am at least consulting brands that are smaller: hang tight, survive, conserve capital. It's okay to do a few $1 million in revenue and not doing 10 million right now, and just grow slowly over time. And typically when brands go from 3 to 10 million, this is what I notice. They find a great couple retailers that's the perfect fit for their product at that point in time. where they get into Costco, they get into whatever it is, and that demographic loves their product and it organically takes off and they get to 7, 8, 9, 10 million. And then it's easier to raise a Series A and then blow it out to 25, 30, 40, 50 million. So I
Right.
think it's got to be calculated. It's got to be slow growth and patient. And I think the model of going as hard as you can, as we've talked about many times on the show, typically doesn't work, and you're going to burn all your cash. So it's got to be careful.
Right, right. Joe mentioned about crowdfunding, which I know you are involved with intimately, as
Yep.
far as that goes. And do you see more and more brands going the crowdfunding route? I've seen he mentions fire department raising 1.8. I've seen a couple big wins. That Painterland obviously was a big one as well. Do you see that as being the way of the future, at least until some of that VC money comes back?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, a question I love to answer, right? Just to be honest, because I do crowdfunding consulting with my consulting business, Genius Dreams. But yeah, I mean, they're calling it community rounds more so than just crowdfunding, where you get your community in, your friends, your family, your colleagues, everyone you've met in the industry to come in and put in at least $100 or higher. And it's proven to be a way to raise anywhere from a couple 100,000 to over 1 million, like my clients, Painterland Sisters, 1.25 million. They oversubscribed to 3 million.
Hmm.
So it's a very good thing in this time right now. And even in the future, when VC capital loosens up and there's more of it, it's still a good thing because you can raise from outside VCs and also raise from crowdfunding at the same time. You can do both in tandem, and you can raise that million or two you need for marketing on crowdfunding, and then raise the rest from VCs, or just raise all of it from crowdfunding. And then the other component of it is that you're getting it from you're getting investments from 1,000 people, 2,000 people on crowdfunding or community fundraising. Those people become customers of your product, so they're going to be not only investing but buying your product online. And so, like, companies, what I like about the space is companies. I know we have a next segment coming up here, but Beatbox, the Beatbox brand, where they do, like, in a Tetra Pak, they do wine,
Right.
kind of like wine coolers, I should say, in a Tetra Pak, and they're all over the place. They've raised like 3 rounds on crowdfunding, totaling several $1 million, and now they have fans all over the country that are going in the stores and buying it. So I'm a big believer in it. I don't want to be as radical to say it's going to replace VC capital, but it's going to help a lot of brands that cannot raise VC capital. And now they have another route to raise not just a little money, but well over 1 million. And now with crowdfunding, you can raise up to 75 million on crowdfunding
Wow.
on Reg
Wow.
A. Most brands raise 1 to 5 million, but if you're in a Series B or C, you can go above 5 million. It's now regulation crowdfunding has come a long way.
That's great. That's great. And Analia also mentioned here that you can see in the chat that there's a network for emerging brands that she's a part of, the Angel Group. So it's the link, if you're listening and not watching, is www.wearetheangelgroup.com/apply -to -pitch, apply to pitch. So it's www.wearetheangelgroup.com/apply to pitch, and the hyphens in between the apply to pitch. So good stuff. And I don't think, when we were talking about plugs earlier, Alex, we do have a YouTube channel now, and I don't know that we mentioned that earlier, but I think we're over or close to 70 episodes uploaded on there now, and we're kind of working backwards. So the most recent ones are on there. This one that we're doing live right now will be on there this evening, more than likely. And if you'd like to check some of that old content, it's all there.
Sweet. And We Are the Angel Group is Adam Spriggs. I've met him many, many times in person, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, they got all the these angel investors that will all join in and invest, and they could become advisors as well.
Gotcha. And I know we have to move to the next segment, but real quick, I
Yep.
wanted to mention this, what Joshua put in the chat. He was talking about as a buyer, what the going against the buyer bonus structure and the retailer chain's objective. He's asking about limiting your budget, not spending with a store of stores. There's I mean, obviously each unique account is going to have their own thing with what they're looking to do as far as what their promotional buckets are, and I talk about that all the time, is understanding when you're making your pitch to a retailer what vehicle they use to drive their business, whether it's a flyer, whether it's off shelf, whether it's a magazine, emails, marketing, whatever. It's going to be difficult. Alex, I don't know if you want to touch on this, but as far as not spending with the stores, I mean, you obviously have to keep those relationships happy and keep the retailers happy. I think it's just a matter of juggling it responsibly and understanding what you can and can't do, and hopefully there's some transparency there as far as you're going into the relationship, so that you can kind of work on that. Alex, I don't know, you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole other subject matter, but I think from what he's saying here, to make sure I understand, not spending with the stores, putting in money to promotional trade spend. Is that what he's talking about?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I
When you
mean,
talked about earlier with the marketing spend and whatnot.
right. I mean, I'll say this much, just kind of a general blanketed statement, that if you can spend money in a way that directly impacts the velocity in stores and gets people to buy the product, because at the store shelf with a yellow tag, right? And you know this from being, VP of center store, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is when they see that yellow tag, a lot of people make impulse decisions, right? When purchasing, they're trying new things, especially natural, where people are more and specialty, they're more adventurous, and they're curious and they want to try new things. So if you have something on sale, 50 cents off, $1 off, and the other one next to you is not on sale, they're going to try it. And if they love the product, they're going to come back and buy it again and again. So obviously you have to budget and be careful and not to overspend. Like, don't
Right.
do 10 BOGOs a year. But I'm a big fan of supporting stores, supporting the partnership, doing promotions at least quarterly, and coming out the gate with a very strong promotion to get people to buy the product, because it directly affects. It's the last place that people go before they go to the cashier and buy it, right?
Right.
And that's the most important place, is that point of sale.
So the other thing I would add to that is a couple things. One, if your account allows it, the one of the things I would suggest is doing scan based promos, so that your liability is reduced to only on what sells versus giving an
100%.
off invoice or MCB on everything that's bought and purchased, because that's where you run into trouble a lot of times on the distributor side, forward buying and buying in inventory on promotion, so that
Yeah.
the distributor's making money, and then and the same thing works on read. And I, full transparency, several of my positions that I've held over the course of my career, we made a big push to our bottom line by doing just that. We did forward buying, regularly, especially on fast turning items. So, and a way to control that from a brand perspective is is to do a scan based promo, and oftentimes that allows you to go deeper with your discount, because your liability is reduced. So they can work very well. And again, I understand that there might be some other costs there as far as a administration with regards to scan or some kind of, because of the billing aspect of it. But I definitely would check it if you're not currently utilizing that as a promotional means. So Kenny's mentioning right there that scan based promos are ideal as you control the spend and insurance. The retail partner gets the full benefit of the deal. So it's
100%.
it's a great way to promote, provided that your retailer accepts those kind of promotions. So
Yeah, this is like golden advice, and I won't try to can't top that or one up it. I'm just saying that's great advice, that whenever you do the OIs and all that stuff, you run into some issues, but scan backs is the best. And at Genius Juice, we converted all of our promotions to scan backs across the board. So it worked out well. Good stuff, Wade. So that's
Yeah.
why work with Wade is real.
There you-
#work with Wade.
there
That's
you
just
go.
a tip of the iceberg on what he knows about this space. So let's get into stuff we love. I'm just kind of chomping at the bit. Talk about
Today,
this.
I've not tried the new one.
So this is the new crunchy peanut. I tried it. I was trying to try it at Expo West, but they were out of them. And they sent me a box. They're at Target. I did buy one at Target, and I'm going to take a bite of this once I finish on my side here. But crunchy peanut, the blue package, brand new midday squares. The other one I'm going to integrate really quickly. I know we're over time here, folks, but I got to talk about prickly pear. It's called Prickly Cactus Water. It has filtered water, prickly pear, agave, lemon juice, some natural flavors, and vitamin C. And I just want to quickly try it. And I also got to mention 7 Teas. They sent me a package. Thank you, Jeremy and Josh, the Brew Bros over at 7 Teas. But let me try Prickly. We sometimes do this on the show. We try something new, and we tell you what we think. Kind of weird, to be honest.
It has the beauty of a live show. There it is.
It has a really, really weird front taste to it, where it tastes like, the Mojave in your mouth. It's just like you taste the desert or something.
I know that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make your mouth dry, but you just taste that earthiness, that thing. It's different. Acquired taste, not for me. But it doesn't taste terrible. It's just not my personal preference. Wait, go ahead. I'm gonna chomp down on this midday squares.
Good stuff. So I'm gonna put a link in real quick. So I mentioned I was on a podcast earlier, and I just put the link in for the elevator talk. And so I'm gonna call out 2 brands that I saw as part of that. They sent me samples after the show, and the first one is from Brad at Good Word, and these are protein cookies.
I love those.
Show you those real quick here. Yep. So there's that. This is a peanut butter cup. I think there's 4, maybe 5 flavors. I don't know. I've got my cupboard's full of them now. So thank you, Brad, for those. And I've got a link here somewhere. See, I'm multitasking, Alex. You like how I do that? It's
gotten good at it.
Trying to keep one ball up in the air. So there's the link for Good Word Foods. And then secondly is from Olivia at Damn Good English Muffins. Have you heard of this brand, Alex?
Show it.
Damn Good English Muffins.
No, I have not seen that.
These are the whole wheat, but these are all natural, no preservatives, vegan, sour. All of them are sourdough. So this is the whole wheat. I think there's a cinnamon. I think there's original, and I'm trying to think what the last one is. I'm forgetting what that one is. But so sourdough muffins, good stuff. I've got a link here for that one as well. So thank you, Olivia at Damn Good, for sending those, and I can't wait to try these this weekend. I just got the box in before the show started. But I listened to their pitch earlier in the week, and now I'm going to be eating their stuff at the end of the week. So not a bad recipe, if I may say so myself.
Are you going to dig into one of those English muffins? You already ate, though. So.
I literally just had a late lunch with my buddies in from Ohio. So
got it. Yeah, the benefit of having it before at 5:30 Eastern is you're hungry. So whenever we had anything on the show, you would definitely just eat the whole damn thing right in front of us.
Exactly.
But now I'm in that position, right? Like I'm here at lunchtime. I didn't have lunch yet. I could just eat this whole freaking box of midday squares. So thank you, Nick, Les, and Jake for sending this. Okay, so let's go into our prize. Thanks everyone for being patient. And this is Friday Freebies.
Friday Freebies.
All right, so just to re-emphasize our sponsors for CPG Vibes, couple things. If you'd like to be a sponsor on our show, cpgvibes100@gmail.com. If you'd like to grab a spot, they start at $350 as an intro rate, and then we have block rates if you purchase 3 or more episodes. And fully recommend, just like Social Nature did, getting referrals from it, is you want to be repetitious. That's my word of the week, is repetitious. Do we have a bouncing ball on the screen showing repetitious?
We should have.
Like Sesame Street style. Let's do repetition. So if you'd like to be a sponsor, definitely having 3 or more episodes is always recommended to make sure it's hammered in people's minds about what it is and how they can benefit from it. And then their ongoing sponsors are Range Me and V Driven. And you can see there's a QR code in the bottom right corner for Range Me. They help brands drive awareness and engagement with retailers through an easy-to-use platform that has more than 15,000 buyers. That crunchy peanut, sometimes the peanut gets stuck in your throat. That's what I'm realizing right now. And I didn't chew it enough because I was wanting to swallow it. It was so good. Listeners can get discounts on Range Me Premium and Pro subscriptions, which include benefits such as direct product submissions to retailers access to Nielsen IQ category data, and in-person meetings, Joe Tarnowski, at ECRM sessions. And Joe's the man for that. Again, scan that QR code, and they have discounts on some of their levels of subscriptions, and you can get in front of buyers both digitally and in person. And V-Driven, leading consulting and brand management firm. Shout out to Luke Abbott and Sasha over there and the rest of the team, specializing in strategic guidance and brand representation for emerging and mid-sized CPG brands, offering services from direct sales to key natural retailers. They also do CPG accounting. They do trade spend deduction management. And if you'd like to schedule a call and understand more about V-Driven and their service, vdriven.com/schedule-a-call. Key thing, mention CPG Vibes 25 to get discounts with V-Driven, and mention CPG Vibes when you reach out to Range Me, and you'll get a percentage off on your service. And then our weekly sponsor, of course, is Social Nature, and they just kick ass. If you didn't see it, hopefully you did. Analia was on, and she's a CEO and founder. Basically, they help natural brands get discovered on retail shelves through their community of 1.1 million shoppers who are looking for better for you options. Launch a new retailer, they get the product in the consumer's hand through a digital coupon redemption, and other programs coming where you can literally redeem it in the store. You're literally talking to a customer, boom, try it from Social Nature. They grab it, they try it, they love it, and they buy it many, many times and become lifetime customers. So those are our three sponsors. And then make sure also YouTube channel and Venmo. We're taking donations on Venmo to continue improving the show. I think we may need to hire additional help here as we're getting behind on some emails. So just bear with us on that. So that's where the donations and sponsorships go, is to make sure we can keep up with everything and make you guys and gals happy in the CPG community. All right. I think I covered everything, right?
You nailed it. So what question do we have today? Got to make it easy. We're over time, so we better make it easy.
Super overtime here. It's 1:11, so on my time. I love that time. So I did not write down a question, did you?
I did not.
Okay, let's think of one.
Okay.
Let's see here. I got an easy one.
Go ahead. Go for it. Go for it. If you got an easy one, go for it.
Sure. What product and what flavor was it that Wade showed, not for the English muffin one, but the first product that he showed?
Nice. I just showed it.
So you had to be here 3 minutes ago, but not the beginning of the episode. Usually we reward people that have been here the whole episode. Sorry, we're not rewarding you this time. We're rewarding someone who literally just hopped on. Could have been hungover the whole day, and they hopped on.
Yeah. We're looking for the brand and the flavor, right? No, yeah. It was in the stuff we love, Gavin. It was just a minute ago, right? That's what you were referring to, correct?
Exactly.
Not the English muffin.
Not the English muffin.
I was going to say, yeah.
Not the monster in the beginning. This is towards the end.
Right. Oh, shoot.
Nope, that's what I had.
That's what you had.
Was a desert in your mouth. That's not it. It was something you held up. It was in a square.
Yep.
There was a flavor and there was a brand name.
All right, if we don't get it, I've got backup. Now you're close. You're close, Gavin, but not quite. Well, he's close. He's close. Ignore Gavin.
You mean peanut butter?
We'll give it another second, and if not, I was gonna say that was a flavor. Yep, and Cagney got it. Good word foods. So
good word foods.
Oh, shoot.
Peanut butter. Oh, so Kenny's the first
there you
one
go.
to put everything.
It wasn't good food. It wasn't good food. It's good word.
Oh. So Cagney got the name, but Kenny got
yep.
Gavin got everything wrong. He didn't say the flavor or the name of the actual company. He was close. So I would award it to either. I think Cagney, he nailed it. So I
Right.
think Cagney, and he's also
Let's give it to Cagney. He's the first
Give it
time.
first
First
time.
time. Let's Cagney. Cagney, you got it. Email the show cpgvibes100@gmail.com, and we'll help you out with that. So excellent. All right, we're over time, Alex. We got to get out of here.
way over time, and I'm flying from my 7Ts in Midday Square. That's a good combination right there. All right, so everyone have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend and having Monday off. And then, Wade, I didn't even talk to you about this, but next week I have a time conflict at noon. So we're
Okay.
doing this on the fly. I meant to talk to you about this before.
No, I think the invite is what time? What time are we doing it?
It's going to be 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern. It's just a one time because I have a family event at noon. So we'll have it at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern for next week. And also what's happening next week, I got to move the Midday Squares box over. It's right near my mouse here, is we're going to have our special edition expert series, the first one. So volume 1, AI technology. And we're going to have Brad Avery from BevNet, who's an expert at AI. And wait till you see this graphic that we're making for the episode. It's fucking hilarious.
Can't wait.
And we're also going to have a second special guest that's an expert in AI, soon to be announced next week on LinkedIn. So make sure if you're looking for AI, how to improve your CPG business, how you can use AI for your CPG brand in all aspects, make sure to tune in. And then the sponsor for next week is Blackbird Foods, who's in the middle of a crowdfunding raise on Start Engine. Emmanuel Storch will be joining us. So, Wade, have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, my friend. Take good care and love you, buddy. And we will see you next Friday on CPG Vibes.
See you
Take
next
care,
week.
everyone.